Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to those watching and listening to this episode of the Talking Sports Podcast. Jeremiah, we're back.
We're back, man. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, but we're back, man. I'm glad to be back talking some NCAA basketball with you, man. It's been nice seeing you hold it down on the channel, so I appreciate that.
I always got you. Content's got to go on. I'm glad you're back, definitely. So let's get into it, man. The NCAA tournament, we're here. We're a couple days
We're here.
away. The brackets are set. The teams are set. It's gonna be a great tournament, just based on the chaos and the craziness, the madness, as they say, that has been going on already in these 17 days of March. It's been crazy so far.
It has been crazy, man. Like you mentioned, it's been chaos. I mean, I know the predictors and people doing the bracketology have had a rough time trying to put the teams, pick them. The selection committee, I know they were struggling trying to get teams in. So it's been chaos for a while, man. It's been crazy.
For sure, for sure. Before we get into it, before we take this deep dive, I just want to remind you all to like the video, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you see all of our content that we're going to be posting this month and the months beyond, and weeks, and all the videos that we post. Thank you for those who have subscribed. For all of you who are new, my name is JD. Jeremiah is my brother and co-host, and we just love talking sports. So if you love talking sports, just tap in with us, hit the notification bell so you see all of our content. Jeremiah, so let's talk about it. First and foremost, the one seeds for this year's NCAA tournament, the number one overall seed, the Connecticut or Yukon Huskies, the defending champions from last year, and honestly, the best team this year from beginning to end, winning the Big East tournament in honestly pretty easy fashion, just dominating the teams that they played. They did start off a little slowly in their first game, but that second half, they just dominated in that first game and just en route to a championship for the Big East. Next, we have Houston, North Carolina, and Purdue. So give us your take on the first seeds and how you think they'll fare.
Well, I would say I like them. I think the committee got them right for the most part. Um, I think the only interesting thing is we've seen what Purdue has done in the past, and we
Yeah.
we all know they can't really be trusted. 29-4, it's a good record, good team, but they just never do as good as they're supposed to. So I think Purdue is probably the one that's going to crash out the quickest out of the four.
Yeah.
But I really like UConn, really like Houston. Um, I think they'll probably go the furthest. North Carolina, Purdue, not as good, uh, but I wouldn't be surprised if North Carolina squeaks out a Sweet 16 maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't trust Purdue just based on what they've done in the NCAA tournaments from past years. They've always had good teams. Zach Edey, they're a big man in the middle. He's been the national player of the year past 2 years. He's like 7'4", I think, something like that. Good player, leading the league in scoring this season with just under 25 points. Big man, he's going to get rebounds. I think he's second or third in rebounds. So, he's a good player, and maybe hopefully they have some better pieces around him that can help him to advance. But I just feel like their style of play doesn't help them because more than likely they're running their offense through him. It's a slower pace. They're not hitting shots, and they can be defended at somewhat a better rate then they're not very difficult to beat. And we saw it in the tournament game that they played where they lost. Held ED to a mediocre game by his standards, and so they can definitely be beaten. I definitely agree that they're going to be the first number one seed to lose. I think North Carolina. I think they were a product of a weaker ACC, and really their only competition was Duke. And they did beat
Barely.
Duke both times.
Yeah.
So I mean, even with that being said, it was a weaker conference, but they still didn't win the tournament. Shout out to NC State.
Right.
And so, a lot of the teams that we thought would, win their conference tournaments didn't. I mentioned it in my last video. If y'all didn't see that video, it's on the JD playlist. Go check that video out. I just basically talked about how crazy the conference championships have been and how ready I am for the NCAA tournament. So a lot of those teams they lost. Tennessee, Duke, North Carolina. You know they didn't win their conference tournaments. How excellent they were in the regular season. When it gets down to March, and those games get more important,
Yep.
things get tight. And so I think a lot of that is going to carry over into this NCAA tournament, man. I think it's going to be a lot of upsets.
I do, yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned upsets because I think we both have one really big one starting off in the first round.
Yeah,
Um, it is Midwest Gonzaga versus McNeese.
yeah,
Now, this is going to be an interesting game. I think um, Gonzaga's a good team, obviously, got the five
mhm,
seed somehow, even though St. Mary's beat them, but
right.
uh, still got the five seed. I think
Mhm.
McNeese is a good team. I really do like them. So that's my first upset. I got McNeese beating Gonzaga.
All right, first upset. So I'm gonna match you with that, and I'm gonna stick in that same uh bracket, that same side, and I'm gonna say that Samford is gonna beat Kansas. A 13-4
Wow,
matchup.
wow,
Kansas, they did not look good. They're
yeah,
battling injuries. Hunter Dickinson had a shoulder injury. He was out for the tournament, and he's they're transferred from Michigan. And with them being so injured, they're limping into this tournament, and I just don't know how they're gonna sustain a long run in this tournament. I think Sanford's gonna win. I think it's gonna be a 12 versus 13 matchup in the second round. McNeese versus Stanford.
that's gonna be a crazy game. But I agree. I could see that. I could definitely see that happening. Um, Kansas Kansas definitely not what they once were as a team. So I
Yeah.
definitely could see that happening. There's going to be a lot of upsets. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of people are picking the highest seeds, and some years I think that's acceptable. This is not one of those years.
The crazy thing is, on the selection show, the pundits, they were all chalk. I think the highest seed they had was a 3 seed in Kentucky. And then I think maybe one other person had Tennessee. All the rest
Yeah,
of them were for 1 seeds. And like, that's never happened. Like, let's be
no,
real.
no, not at all. I mean, if you're picking uh, Purdue and Tennessee and North Carolina and Iowa State in your Elite Eight, that's gonna be very different. Very different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I honestly, as far as upsets go, and we can look at the bracket here, it's difficult to pick because a lot of the team, unless you're just like the only thing you do is watch college basketball. It's
Yeah,
tough because who's watching Grand Canyon if you're not in Arizona? Like it's
I'm not.
you gotta really do a lot of research on these teams. But speaking of Grand Canyon, I think they can possibly upset as well. I always like the 12-5 matchups because typically it's a Power Five, a very prominent school versus a non-prominent school, and the usually there are a lot of differences in styles of play when that happens, and so they seem to clash. And honestly, you never know what you're gonna get, but Grand Canyon could possibly beat St. Mary's. Their leading scorer, it averages almost 20 points a game on 44% shooting, and so it seems like he could possibly do some scoring. We know Gonzaga St. Mary's, they're good, but even they're not as strong as they usually are. And we've seen some very good St. Mary's schools. I think that the West Coast Conference in itself was weaker this year, and I think that's one of the things that we saw across the board, and that's why there was so much chaos. A lot of the powerhouse schools were not as strong for whatever reason, whether it be the one and done system, people changing their classifications, things like that. It just showed that hey, there's not a lot of stars in this tournament here. I mean, there are some, but on you can probably name them on two hands. The superstars that you can see going to the next level, going to the pros that are in these tournaments. And when you think about that, also the draft, a lot of the players that are going to be going into the NBA from the draft, a lot of them are international players. So that kind of says something a little bit of how you can pick these teams and how difficult it's going to be also to pick some of these teams.
for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, like you mentioned, it's not a lot of top names, top prospects.
Yeah.
It's just a couple. And I mean, you got some to watch out for. Um, but I mean, Purdue has one. Obviously, North Carolina. You got, um, I think Kansas might have one or two that are
Hmm.
pretty good. But overall, it's really like you mentioned those 5 and 12 seeds. It's a collection of a lot of good teams
Yeah.
coming together. So it's going to be interesting to see, man, who's going to step up for who and who's going to really take over.
Yeah. Speaking of takeover, there's one guy. He plays for Illinois, Terrence Shannon Jr. He has been on a tear in his conference tournament. He put up 40 and then he put up 36 in the final game. And he's a guy that can fill up the stat sheet and put up big points and lead his team. They're number 3 seed. I like Illinois. I think, of course, they're gonna have to more than likely meet up with Auburn in the Elite Eight, or if I'm looking at this correctly, Elite Eight or the Sweet 16, one of those.
Yeah,
But I like Auburn, the 4 seed. They're deep. They they ran through the SEC like it was nothing, to be honest. And they're
yeah,
such a deep team. They can run 10 to 12 deep. That's going to be very important in the NCAA tournament because, foul trouble, different styles of play, you need bodies that can do different things. So I like Auburn. I like Illinois. I like a lot of these higher seeds, the 3, 4, 5 seeds, and some of the 2 seeds as well to make some noise in this tournament.
for sure. No, I think if Auburn can get to UConn, that's going to be a very interesting game.
Ooh.
That would be in the Sweet 16 if they can get there.
That would
That'll
be,
be yeah,
yeah.
that'll be huge. But I agree. I think I almost like the two and three seeds a little bit better than the one seeds outside of
Me
maybe
too.
UConn,
Yeah.
Houston. You got some good two seeds in there, and three as well. I mean, Marquette's a very good team. So
Yeah. I was gonna mention Marquette because they have my favorite coach, Shaka
yeah,
Smart.
right.
I love Shaka. I've been following him since he was at VCU with no hair. Uh,
Yep,
where he was a young coach in the league, but now he's established. He's got Marquette playing some incredible basketball. I just like his style of play. They play solid defense, and they have the best point guard, in my opinion, in the league in Kolick. Now, he was injured coming into the Big East tournament, but if he can be healthy, he's leading the league in assists, 7.6 assists per game. If he's healthy, then they can make a. I think they can make a deep run. They have a solid team.
for sure. Yeah, no, Tyler Kolek is he's good talent as well. I'm gonna give you one more. Um, in Colorado State, I believe his
Okay.
name is Isaiah Stevens. Um, also been playing pretty well here. Um, Colorado State, trying to find where they are.
They're going to be in the Midwest. They're the 10 seed, so they're going to be
Tennessee.
in the first four going against Virginia.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, they also some good talent coming out of there. What do you think about Zach Edey? I mean, he's we trash on Purdue a little bit, but if he really takes it to the next level, what do you think Purdue can actually do? I mean, are they going to crash out, or what do you think?
Well, it's very interesting because last season they lost in the first round to a 16 seed. It's only the second time that has happened in NCAA tournament history. And if you remember, the first time it happened was Virginia. But what did Virginia do that next season?
They won.
They won the whole thing. So
Mm,
could Purdue be on a Virginia track and after losing to the 16 seed, they come back and win it all this year? I mean, I know that it's in their head that they lost, and I know they want it back. And so that could fuel them to make a deep run, but I just don't see it, Jeremiah. I don't see it. I think these now the teams that are in the Midwest, they are a little weaker. But I will say this: Creighton, they have a big man as well.
yep.
Let me see if I can find his name real quick. And it's a different name, so I gotta remember how to see how to pronounce it. Shireman, I guess. I think that's how you say his name, Shireman. Baylor Shireman. He's 6'7". No way. I thought he was taller than that. No, he's a guard. No, they have a big man. They have a big man. Let me see. But yeah, Creighton has a big man, and let's see if I can find his name. Ah, who's a team that you like? While I'm looking this up.
Yeah, no. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I really do like McNeese. Um, I question if they can get through Gonzaga, but I mean, had a 30-3 record, really good team, another 5-12 seed matchup, like you mentioned before. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. Um, was it Ryan Kalkbrenner?
Ryan Kalkbrenner. He's 7'1", 270 pounds. If
Yeah,
they match up, then that could be a very interesting matchup between those two bigs. But both of those teams, they have to get there. And
right.
that's a one versus a that would be a one versus a three seed. So they would probably meet in the Elite Eight. But I don't see them getting that far. I don't see Purdue getting that far. Jamie Dixon coaches TCU, well coached team. Jamie Dixon has been, he's a veteran. He's been to many NCAA tournaments. His team will be prepared. I think TCU will match up with Purdue in the next round, in round two. As far as other upsets go, I think we've mentioned a lot of them that I actually think are going to happen. Now,
Yep.
a lot of the 8-9 matchups are toss ups, so you never really know what you're going to get with those. But a 9 seed that I like is Michigan State. Tom Izzo has his team in the tournament again,
Yep.
and you cannot you cannot count out Michigan State.
Mhm.
They're always a veteran led team. They always have great guards that know how to win in these big moments. They didn't have a very good season, but again, the Big Ten, I think personally, was down this year. That's why we saw Purdue do what they did. But again, they didn't even win it. So I like Michigan State as a 9 seed, and they can match up with North Carolina very well. So be on the lookout for a North Carolina Michigan State matchup in round two. Could possibly be an upset, and we see one of those number one seeds go down.
Right.
So, Jeremiah, as we transition, who is your sleeper team to win it all this season?
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming. Sleeper
And
team, man.
and they don't have to be a high seed, but
Yeah.
you know, who do you think's a sleeper that nobody else is really picking?
Honestly, man, I haven't heard that much about them, even though they're a 2 seed. But
Hmm.
I,
I
I,
think
I
I
got
know where
two.
you're going. Go ahead, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I,
I
I
think I
got
know where
two
you're
sleeper
going.
teams. So my first one, and this is the one I really think can go all the way, and that is Arizona. Um,
Ooh,
I haven't heard that much about them. They're a 2 seed. I mean, they were 25-8,
yeah.
um, starting off at Long Beach. I think
Hmm.
they'll probably make it out of there pretty easily. Um, my second team, though, we did mention them already. I think Marquette. I think Marquette is not necessarily a sleeper. They've looked good this year. They got the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Got some talent for sure, but I don't think a lot of people are picking them. I think a lot of people are picking them to maybe lose to Florida or NC State, whoever they match up with later
Right.
on.
Yeah.
But those are my two, and my really sleeper will probably be McNeese, just to see if they can go far.
Ooh, Cinderella.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So those are very good sleeper teams. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Illinois.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Illinois because they have Shannon is just you need a star. You need that superstar that's gonna carry you in those big
Yeah.
moments, get you a bucket when you need it, and really take over games. So I'm gonna go there, Illinois, and then I'm also gonna go Auburn at a number 4 seed. Winning the SEC is important because typically the SEC has the most talent
Hmm.
as far as like recruiting and things like that. And to show what they did in that tournament, I think that's going to speak volumes. Bruce Pearl, as we know, is an incredible coach. He's been doing it for years. We saw it with Tennessee. He took them to many tournaments. And this team is deep and they can play fast, they can defend, they can score. I like Auburn as a sleeper. I don't think a lot of people are gonna be talking about Auburn, even
Yeah.
though
I
they won the SEC. Was that one or two? That was two? Did I give two?
think that was two. Illinois and Auburn. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are my two sleepers. I think both of those teams can make deep runs. And for my Cinderella, since you gave your Cinderella,
Yeah,
And you said yours with McNeese.
I think
Hmm.
so.
Let's see. I'm gonna say, oof. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna go James Madison. I'm gonna
Okay,
go. I'm gonna go James Madison. I think.
it's a good team.
Yeah, I think they're leading the league in scoring, if I want to say, or they're up there. They have 31 wins, so they've been dominating their competition. I think, yeah, I'm gonna go James Madison as my Cinderella. They can make it to like the Final Four or whatever.
Yeah, that's a really good team. So I was looking at the most picked champions already, just like the
Uh,
early brackets, and UConn is at 26.4%.
yeah.
The next two, North Carolina at
Okay.
11.6 and Houston at 11.6. What are your thoughts on that? So you got basically North Carolina as the one that everybody's picking, and then you got UConn as the one that
Yeah.
everybody's picking, and then you got North Carolina and Houston as the next two. What do you think about that?
Though those are the so no UConn and Houston are the two teams that a lot of the pundits had as their national championship game. So I'm not surprised,
Mm-hmm.
but I just I just think that you can't go chalk in these tournaments. Like it rarely happens. And I understand it because they're the one seed, they've won the most games. And to be honest, Houston has looked the best. They have the best defense in the country, holding teams to like 50 something points, which is crazy in today's
Crazy.
time. So I understand it. And I honestly I am taking UConn to go all the way just because they are the best team. But something that I learned today, just looking at the bracket, they have I think, four conference champions in the bracket. So UConn,
Wow.
Auburn, Illinois, and Iowa State. All four of those teams won their conference tournament. And that's so rare because typically the number one overall seed doesn't have any other champions in their bracket. So
Yeah.
I think the way that the committee put these teams together was a little bit strange, but I understand it because so many bubble teams won their tournaments. Um, so I think it's going to be a little more difficult for UConn just because of that.
Yeah.
But I understand it, but that's not who I'm picking for my like top four teams that are going to be making it into the Final Four.
Right. No, that's interesting. Normally, yeah, the number one seed has the, I guess, easiest region or side to go
Right.
through, but it sounds like that's going to be tough. I mean, because it seems like Illinois will probably get through, Auburn will get through, and Iowa State as well, and two of them are going to have to play each other. So,
Exactly. Exactly. So just looking at that, let's pick our Final Four. So I'll start. I'll start
okay,
and I'll pick my Final Four. Starting with the East region, the team that I have coming out of the East is so tough because, like I said, these you have four conference champions in this East region, and so it it's tough to pick. But I'm gonna stick with UConn. They have been the best team,
yeah,
but that's the only one seed that I have making it to the Final Four. So I'm gonna say UConn for the East region. For the what is this? The West, I'm taking Arizona.
okay,
Um, for the Midwest, I'm taking. This is tough. This region is going to be crazy. I think most of the upsets are going to come from the Midwest.
I agree. Yeah,
Uh, I'm going to take McNeese. McNeese there and Marquette. Marquette in the
that's
South.
that's a solid Final Four for sure. Um, mine is similar, but
Okay.
little bit different. Um, I'm taking Iowa State.
Oh, see, I want to
Yeah,
take Iowa State, but I don't know how they're gonna fare against UConn. I have the Elite Eight game,
yep,
Iowa State versus UConn for sure.
for sure. Yep, I got Iowa State. I got Arizona coming out of the West as well. I think
Yep.
Arizona is a solid team. Oh man, this Midwest. Gosh.
Midwest is gonna be
I
crazy.
don't know what's gonna happen. You know what? I'm gonna go Tennessee.
Okay, I thought about
I'm,
Tennessee too.
I think I'm gonna regret that, but I'm gonna go Tennessee, and we'll just see. We'll see how far
Yeah,
they can get.
I will
Um,
say this about Tennessee though, Dalton Connect is a superstar,
yeah,
and
for sure.
this is gonna be his first time in the NCAA tournament because he was injured last season. And
Mhm,
so he's a scorer and he's tough. He's a tough scorer. He can shoot. He's so good, man. If anybody can take over a tournament, it can be him. So I really did um think about Tennessee, but I just feel like if a team can hone in on him and take him off of his game, then that'll make Tennessee a little bit tougher, make Tennessee a little bit easier to guard and handle. So
for
that's
sure.
why I steered away from Tennessee. But that's a good pick. That's a good pick for sure.
Yep. And then we got the South here. This is hard, man, because I'm a Duke fan. I wanna
Yeah.
I wanna just pick Duke just because we've we've had such an up and down year. For
Yeah,
those of you who don't know, JD and we're both Duke fans,
we are.
so we've been supporting them, hurting while doing it, but supporting them this
Right.
year. Um, Still kind of missing Coach K, but you know we got a little bit of talent, so
Yeah, we do.
um, but I don't think Duke will make it that far. Um, Man, I either got NC State or Marquette, and I hate that they're gonna have to play each other if they can get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
But I'll probably go Marquette. I think Marquette can probably beat Houston if it gets there. Um,
Yeah.
and like you mentioned, they're probably one of the best coach teams in the
Hmm.
entire bracket. So I'll go Marquette.
And the reason I'm picking Marquette is because I think NC State is gonna lose to no, I think Kentucky's gonna lose to NC State.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are probably picking Kentucky, but I'm picking the upset there. I'm having the 11th seed beat Kentucky, so that's why I'm picking Marquette to go to the Final Four out of that region.
It's close. From what I'm seeing now, it's 55 to 45, Kentucky over Marquette. So that's going to be close for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So that's our Final Four. We're gonna put it down in the comment section about Jeremiah and my Final Four, and you guys react to it. Who do you guys think is going to be in the Final Four? Who's going to be taking it all? This is going to be an incredible tournament. If I'm not mistaken, games start. The first four games are going to be March 19th and 20th. So that is Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's when those games will start on True TV. Check out those first four games as we get ready for the NCAA tournament. Jeremiah, what are the final thoughts just going into the NCAA tournament this week?
Oh man, I'm excited to watch all these games, man. I'm gonna have my phone up in class, watching
Yeah,
the games, um, and I'm expecting more chaos as well, man. I'm expecting some nines to go far, 12s to go far.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I'm hoping it'll be more chaos, and everybody's bracket should be busted by probably by Friday night, hopefully. So we'll
Yeah, no,
see. We'll see what
absolutely.
happens.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. It's gonna be incredible basketball. This is personally, I just think it's the best time of the year. You know, you got March Madness, you got NBA playoffs. Those teams are starting to ramp up. You know, NFL free agency, the off season, that never goes away. So yeah, just enjoy this time of sports. It's starting to, it's getting warmer out. The days are starting to be a little longer. It doesn't get dark so quick. So you all enjoy these games. We're gonna be giving you all some great content. Um, as these games go by, we will be posting a NFL free agency video coming up soon. So y'all be on the lookout for that. But Jeremiah, also, we have to do our segment. What are you watching? So let's get into that before we end our show. What do you watch? Is there anything that you're watching or listening to? Um, you know, that's coming out so far.
So I'll give both, man. I got the chance to see Lauren Daigle in concert in Colombia two
Yeah.
weekends ago. Um, and she was incredible. She was singing her new album, Kaleidoscope Jesus. Shout out to Lauren Daigle. Concert was incredible. Been listening to her album nonstop pretty much. So that's been good. And I've been watching, this is honestly, like you mentioned, one of my favorite times of year as well because MLB the show, the game typically comes out around this
Yeah.
time, springtime.
Right.
And so I've been watching a few YouTubers play that. It's always enjoyable seeing them create a character um, and just kind of play through it. The guy I'm watching right now, he's playing outfield, and so it's
Okay.
always a fun time seeing the MLB the show and how they like update it every year. So
Right. Yeah.
those are
Exactly.
that's what I'm watching.
It's such a fun game. I remember, and I don't know if you remember it, but I rented that game, or maybe
Yeah, I think
did
you
I don't
did.
know if I
Yeah,
rented or bought it on one of the older systems, but those games are always fun to play. Like we never played baseball, so like
right.
watching those and playing those games are always fun because that's not a sport that we've actually played. So
Yeah,
getting to play it in a video game is always a fun experience. So
for sure.
yeah, shout out to those YouTubers. Y'all, if y'all go watch MLB the show or go buy the game and tell us how it is down in the comment section. And shout out Lauren Daigle. Give us the name of her album one more time.
Kaleidoscope Jesus.
Kaleidoscope Jesus. Y'all check out Lauren Daigle's new album on YouTube. I'm sure it's there. Speaking of new albums, I listened to Justin Timberlake's new album
Yes.
Friday the 15th. And I'm just gonna give my quick review of it. I'm gonna give it like a 7.2. It was good,
Okay.
but it definitely was not as good as a 2020 experience. Um, the 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 album was a little more poppy than I thought it was gonna be. It definitely did have some good songs. Don't get me wrong. And Justin, his voice is just amazing. So anytime that anytime that he gets to really sing and show off his vocal talent, then I really enjoy that. But I'm gonna give it a 7.2. It was a good album, but if you all go listen to it, let us know down in the comment section what you think of Justin's album and Lauren Daigle's album. Also, two things I'm watching. I'm still trying to catch up, finishing the X-Men series, the first
Sure.
5 seasons of X-Men animated series, before March 20th, the new episodes are dropping. I'm probably gonna just finish the first 5 seasons. Once I finish it, then I'll start watching the new episodes because they're gonna drop like one a week. So
Right. You still
it'll
have
be
time.
easy. Yeah, it'll be a lot easier to just catch up with those 1 or 2 episodes after I'm done watching it. But that's what I'm watching right now. Also, starting. Um, is there another series that's coming out? I don't know. I don't think there's another series coming out. But whenever there is, we'll let you guys know to be watching and tuning into those. Go watch X Men if you like Marvel. Go watch X Men March 20th. X Men 97, or yeah, X Men 97 is coming out.
Yep.
Go watch that. That's gonna be a great time. And let us know down in the comment section what you guys think of that. But no spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. Say, hey, save it. Save it for the Reddit. Don't put it in the comments.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Jeremiah, let's get out of here. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching this episode of the Talking Sports Podcast. Hit us up in the comment section and follow us on Twitter at TSPJDN.
For
We're
sure.
getting a lot of good interaction there on our Twitter. We're definitely going to be posting all of our videos there and a lot of the up to the minute updates and tweets about a lot of different games that are going on right now. So, with that being said, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace, y'all.
Peace.